Welcome, denizens of the internet. We are Grin and Barrett. We're tired.
We're tired.
We in our jammies because we tired.
I'm AC, and I'm drinking Dragon's Nectar.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yum.
hibiscus and dragon fruit. And I bought it last year, and I need to drink them before they go bad. Okay, I did.
You're like, this is important. I have to finish this. I am Knuckles, and I'm drinking an Asahi Super Dry. Super Dry. It's a Japanese beer.
I'm Iris, and I'm also drinking a mead. This is from Charm City, which is local-ish to me. Now I told you where I live. And it's the elderberry flavor. It's super good, but it's about to be not seasonal anymore. So
That sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Kitty.
I am Alice, and I am drinking a very, very black rum and coke because it's coffee rum. And it is completely opaque. Like, you can see the reflection of the screen on my glass because it's so black.
So, a few of us have had quite a month. Just a little, so please bear in mind. So, we're dealing with a hurricane, a convention, and the aftermath of the storm. So there's a lot of things going on with us.
With the overall end of the world pandemic. You know.
Yeah,
that's too.
Like that, in addition to all this other stuff.
and world stuff, you know.
Just for a little extra seasoning.
No, and the thing that
email, I don't know.
Yeah, that too. No, you're right. Oh, wait, I have a funny story about that as well. In relation to hurricane stress, because before I say this, because it's like TMI, but it's funny. I am on birth control. That's not like a salacious fact about myself. That's just a fact. However, the kind of birth control I take, I don't have a period, and I had to. I evacuated Hurricane Ida with my family. We went to Pensacola. And stayed with family there. So, we were okay. But like, I had to call my mom went on a Walmart run, and I had to call her up and be like, hey, can you grab me some tampons? Because I literally just started my period because of the stress of all of this. I never get periods. The last time I got one was, no kidding, after I got the vaccine. And it caused me to have a period. I was like, what? This is so, So yeah, anyway, hurricane-related stress equals periods for me.
So I gotta say, I stayed in town for the hurricane, much to, I said we should leave.
Yeah.
And we didn't because we thought we had access to a generator, and we ended up not. But I did get an agreement that we will leave if it's going to be a 3 or 4 next time. So I knew that we were going to leave no matter what, like either before the storm or after storm. So I had to pack, but I had to pack in mind for a convention.
Right.
Because so I always kind of know around this time of year that we're going to get some type of storm. So I always know, like last year we had storms. So I knew like, okay, I'm going to con, I'm going to clean out my fridge, and I'm not going to have anything in there, and I'm going to pack. Well, the storm hit the weekend before con, so I was supposed to already have used that time to pack and finish stuff. So I'm just throwing stuff in a bag. I lose where I had pads because that happened to me while at Dragon Con for my period also.
No.
So I had to go buy them because I couldn't remember where they were. I found them later after I bought a set, and I'm like, they were hidden in the. Remember my book stack that has the mini pockets? Yeah, it was hidden in there. Yeah, so that's how out of it was. I remember I had brought pads, but I couldn't find them. But one of the great things about the Swag and Seek group is that at 5 o'clock in the morning for Friday night at the Rave Dragon Con, I had gone into the bathroom like 10 times. I walked back in there. There was pads sitting there written in a hand note that says, if in case anyone needs. I totally took a picture of that and was like, and took like too, because I was like, yes, thank you, you saved me, because I was running around. Like, I had pets in my hotel room, but not while I was out and about at 5 o'clock in the morning. We'll explain Dragon Con to you.
You were visited by the sanitary angel.
I know, our fairy.
Just because we're already sharing it, I think it's funny. I started my period for Dragon Con too.
Are we all synced somehow? Like, that's really
we're
funny.
Not hanging out in person.
So Knuckles and I are in the same state. We're in Louisiana where it hit on, but she decided to evacuate the Friday. I left the Tuesday. If you don't know of how people handle storms, okay, so the day after, they tell you not to leave your house, but as long as you're not stupid, you can leave your house because you have to fix shit. You have to fix stuff. So we were basically went around, and besides cleaning out our fridges, which, like I told you, my fridge was pretty much bare, because we had no power. No power did not come back at least for 2 weeks, and no water. So we went and checked out different friends' houses because they were all concerned. We checked out Knuckles' house for her. We didn't have a key, but we were able to walk around it and take pictures. And we went to another one of my friends, and then
thank you. That was a freaking lifesaver, seriously, because like it helped me. I can't tell you how much like stress you took away from me doing that, because I was like, okay, house is fine. Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, and we helped out another friend whose parents, she couldn't get in touch with her parents, but she wanted to make sure the family home was okay. So I was like, let's go. And he's like, who am I checking? What's her name? Because he's like, I don't want to get shot.
Fair enough.
Because I had the dog in the car while he was doing all this. So anyway, and then from there, we had one more house to check, but the timing didn't happen, and then they put a curfew in effect. So we're like, we're not going. And then we were leaving early the next day to go to go someplace that had power and plumbing. So we were like, we're about to do a 14-hour drive. We can't go check your place because that's in the dark, and we could get shot. We're not doing that. Because they had it. They said dusk till dawn was the curfew. So basically, what you do after a storm is you get your friends who are still in town, and if they have a key to your house, they'll clean out your fridge for you. And then you go to the person who has a yard and has a grill, and you grill all that shit that was all that stuff that was in the fridge. And one of our friends decided she was going to go through, she ends up going through somebody. I think she's like, I think our friend is like, she's, not like an assistant to somebody who's wealthy. I forget what the person, I think it was like a lawyer or something. And so they asked her to go through her fridge. So she went through her fridge and stuff. And she was also like, took out the alcohol out of the fridge. And I was like, you do know alcohol keeps. You could have left that on the counter. She's like, no, this is payment.
I like that.
So we had all this food and meat, and they had like pressurized meat or something. I don't know. It was just like, one of the meat packs busted. So because we brought meat back with us, and the bag busted, so we just threw all the meat away. It was gonna go spoiled anyway. But we ate so much food, and then the person that was going for everybody's fridge, she went and told all the neighbors in the yard because they were cutting down a tree because we had to go. Oh yeah, and then when it's a hurricane the day after, it's okay to go down a one-way street the wrong way if a tree is blocking it.
Yeah.
Like all these apocalypse rules. I love this.
So
Get out of my way.
Streets are two-way, all lights are stop signs.
Actually, we did it the right way. We went reverse, and then like we backed into the street and just reversed all the way back until we found the spot. So technically, we were going. The car was faced the right way. I was like, "That's nicely done. I like how you did that." So I forgot about this until because everything's just been a blur. So that was our day, and we had tons of food, and then we had to spend the night in an apartment with no power. So that was fun. You have not lived until you have taken a bath, but with cold bottled water. That's all I'm gonna.
Yep.
That's how because you have to because I'm convinced that my boyfriend had heat stroke. So
he probably did.
And the next day I was like, okay, because we were trying to leave, and I was like, we're gonna go sit in the car, and you're gonna drink this bottle of water, and we're just gonna have. I don't know why we didn't do this the night before, but you're just gonna sit and let the air hit you, and just spend 20 minutes in the car. And then once that he was fine. He's like, oh, you're right.
That is why after last season I bought a battery operated fan.
Yeah,
because I was dying.
I had that too. It finally died that night, but and I went and charged it in the car, but he didn't want it. I used it on me, and I was fine until like 2 or 3 in the
Actually,
morning.
got it
But I
right
was
here.
like, yeah. And I told him, I was like, so this is why I didn't want us here.
Ooh,
He goes,
nice.
That
Good
is
one.
nice. Ooh, that one's a bigger one. Yeah, I was like, this is why I didn't want us here. And he was like,
Dead at the
I
moment, but like it has
Look.
you can totally change like the speed, and then it has a bright light. So you
Oh,
can have light,
nice.
too. And it
Okay.
charges on USB-C.
So that's my story. So then we drove to Virginia, and then we hit Ida again. So the tail end of it, and then we
Jesus.
got
You caught up with her.
We got
Well, it was going really slow.
That's why we waited Monday, because we were like, we're gonna hit it if we leave now. So we waited
Yep.
till Tuesday, and we took our time. But we hit it toward the end, and then we were there, and we were fine.
AC, what was the drive like from Virginia to Dragon Con? What is that drive? How many hours is that?
9.
Ugh, dude.
9. So literally, we drove full 14.
Oh my
got
gosh.
in at like 3 a.m, and then had to get up. We were trying to get up around 9. That didn't happen. We got up at 9, but we didn't leave till like 10, I think, 10 or 11.
So
our
you
goal was,
you got
we got
in at 3 and then left at 10?
Yep.
Dude.
we were
That's
I could not.
yeah. And that was all my boyfriend driving. So
oh my gosh. Wow. Well done.
we immediately jumped into the shower, but we also went there because I didn't have a place for my dog. So we had to go
Hmm.
because of course the place that I had canceled, like, that was
Right.
great. I wasn't getting any messages until we left town. Then my phone blew up because apparently my T-Mobile does not work well during a hurricane. But Verizon worked great because boyfriend still had access to everything. But I did not.
Did y'all get into any traffic going to Virginia, or were we all okay?
We actually didn't hit any like major traffic. Like I think there was like minor accidents, but we didn't hit the traffic that we normally hit going to Chattanooga. We were like, we usually get there like, because this was the first time we actually kind of left on time. I was trying to get us out the door for 6:30, but because of loading up the car, because we were bringing everything in the kitchen sink.
Right.
Because remember we were evacuating.
Yeah, you're evacuating. You have a dog, and con stuff. Like,
Con stuff.
yeah.
So and this was the first time I packed the thing because, like I said, boyfriend had heat stroke. So I actually figured out how to pack it as he was like trying to not be sick, and I was like, okay, I know how to do this. And so when he finally like woke up and came down, like figured out, like felt better and came down, he's like, I'm very impressed with your, is it Tetris? Yeah, your Tetris.
Tetris?
Yeah, because you know like how you pack everything.
Mhm.
So
y'all
he's
just
like,
had one car? That's
it was my little car. It was my
that
little
is impressive.
two ice chests, a dog cage. We couldn't see out the back. A dog cage, 2 garment bags, 2 suitcases, and then I had 3 crates of crafts with me because I still
I was
had
gonna
my
say
swag
that.
stuff. So, because I was bringing all that stuff, and then
That's
yeah,
why
the
stuff. Oh my god.
See, the thing is, like, hatchbacks, because, like, I have a tiny little hatchback about the same size as hers. Hatchbacks are TARDISes. You can
Yeah.
make them fit just about anything.
Yeah,
I
all
put
the
a
seats
45
go down,
inch
like-
TV in mine.
Yeah, all my seats went down. Yeah, all my seats went down. Minor note: normally during a hurricane in Louisiana, you drink during the hurricane.
Yeah.
I decided not to. I just drank Pepsis. So the whole weekend I had Pepsis because I was like, we're gonna lose power and it's gonna be hot. I don't want to
Yes.
be hungover and hot, you know.
And
So,
dehydrated.
also we had power up until Sunday at 5 p.m., which was the craziest thing, and that's when it went out. So we had it all day.
Yeah.
Until 5 p.m., which was great because it was the only day we had to deal with it being really, really hot was that Monday, and then we left.
Well, like, the scary thing about this particular hurricane was, like, okay, so long story short on my end, basically, like, Friday night, my dad called me and was like, I was working from home that week, so I thankfully was home and was able to pack and go. But he called me at 3 p.m. and goes, hey, we're leaving at 6:30 right after work. So if you want to come, if you want to come evacuate with us, like, come over here by 6:30. I'm like, okay. So for about an hour, I had about 3 hours total to pack up 2 cats, do literally as much. Oh, get all my important papers, like you know, and then I still packed for Dragon Con just in case I would be able to go there from wherever I evacuated from, or if we came home.
Did you take your car?
Yeah, I took my car. So it's me, my parents, my brother that all evacuated, and my brother had his car, I had my car, my parents had one car. So we had 3 cars between the 4 of us, which was totally fine. That worked out great. And we happened to have enough room at the place that we stayed because my family, my dad's sister, that side of the family has some condos, like they own condos that they renovated and stuff in Gulf Breeze. So it's like the island. So you know how you got Pensacola and you go over a couple of bridges and then you're at the lowermost, island. That's where they are. So they're like right on the Gulf. So it was really nice. Like, I canceled all of my vacation days that I was taking for Dragon Con and just worked because I was the only one in my office that had any internet, because all the rest of the people in my office stayed or they left and they didn't have access to internet or something. But like the rest of the people that are kind of worked on my level all stayed, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Cause like one of them, I think she just got internet back like last week. Oh. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, that's freaking awful. But, so my dad was like, hey, we're leaving. So we left Friday night. And it was the hurricane was forecasted to hit us Sunday night or Monday morning, I guess. I think it was. So we left and we didn't have very much traffic at all. We just from here to Pensacola, it's like 3 hours, 3.5 hours ish, around there. So the drive wasn't bad at all. But I remember getting there, we settled in, and the next morning, like communicating with friends and talking to people who were staying and stuff. And like, I had a few separate friend groups that were leaving, that they left, the next morning, like early Saturday morning, that I got into 14-hour traffic, just trying to get to Tennessee. And I was just like, I just turned to my dad and I'm like, you made the right decision. I'm so glad we left last night, because oh my gosh, the horror stories that I was hearing.
How long did it take y'all the Friday night?
Oh, 3 hours. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to, like, as soon as I got home the Friday night, I was packing, but I was like, the earliest we would have been able, if we had decided, would have been Saturday.
And Saturday is still not too bad, but it was like, it was, starting. The thing that was scary about this storm was that we went to bed and woke up and it went from 105 miles an hour to 150. Like we went to bed at 105 miles an hour. We woke up at 150 miles an hour. And I was like, boy, am I glad I freaking left. And just hearing all the stories, like when we came home, hearing all of the stories about people who stayed, and they're like, yeah, like we peeked out our window and we saw our tree like this in the wind. And I was just like, heck no. Like,
so here's a funny thing. So we stayed in my boyfriend's apartment, and it's a 3-story. So we were on the top floor. So we, I think we took, when the lights went out, we went and took a nap. We were like, okay, we'll take a nap. But he couldn't sleep because in the bedroom, being on the bed, the apartment would shake. So he'd feel it more in the bed. And I at first I didn't feel it. I was like, huh, what? And then eventually we were like, okay, let's move to the living room, because it was just easy, would flow, like once the storm stopped, it was like we could open windows and stuff. But I don't think we did, because I think the storm raged all Sunday night. But we figured out he had a couch, and he had a cot that he bought for Dragon Con but has never used it for Dragon Con. So technically I can say we have, because this fell on Dragon Con.
That's funny.
So I slept on the cot, and then my dog, immediately as soon as we take out the cot, she jumps on the cot.
Oh, geez. You're like, no.
No, I let her sleep on the cot, because it was like just 2 feet off the ground. So she slept with me. I was like, I didn't. But the next night she did not, because I think she was like, it was too hot for her. My dog's a lizard, and she's like, I'm done. This is done. But she did great on the bed. She was quiet the whole time. She's like, where are we going? Are we going somewhere with air conditioner?
Oh, poor baby. And I'm glad you mentioned it, because like that's something that I want to talk about too with hurricanes. It's like, guys, like even if the hurricane is weaker than Hurricane Ida, which was like a 4, like a strong 4,
almost a 5 when it hit land.
It was really bad. And then the problem with Ida was it once it hit land, it was still really, really strong winds, but it was going 8 or 9 miles an hour through.
Yeah, that was
so
the
like
crazy thing. It was
it,
so
yeah,
slow.
it didn't get out of freaking Louisiana until like Tuesday or something. I'm like, bro,
Yeah, it took forever.
get out of here! Like, and then it wreaked havoc throughout the rest of the dang United. I'm like, get out of here, you stupid. So, but.
Yeah.
But like the thing that I want to talk about mostly is like it's not really the living through the actual hurricane, it's the aftermath, because you're dealing with, I mean,
No
it's
power.
in the freaking summer. Like, think about it. It's the tail end of summer. It's always hot as heck. Like, it's already really, really hot. Like, you might get luck out and have water, but you probably won't. So you have to boil your water and you do all this stuff if you have a gas stove. I don't have a gas stove, so I can't even boil water if I wanted to. So, like, I'm never staying ever again. Like, I remember, and then as if, and y'all know as good as well as I do, as if it wasn't bad enough, all this junk, we were all dealing with frickin' Hurricane Katrina PTSD because it hit on the same frickin' day. So I was
16 years later.
I was like, dude, you're freaking killing me. I remember evacuating for Hurricane Katrina. We packed for only like 2 weeks and then stayed away for an entire month. And I remember coming back on my birthday and just had like the crappiest birthday ever because it was like like rallies in like this dinky like thing by the river called the Shimmy Shack was open. That was it. We were eating MREs and like, you know, cleaning up hurricane stuff and all kind, and like, ugh, I just remember being like, I'm over it. Like, I think I hit my, and then, sorry, I'm just like, ugh.
Shimmy Shack has great margaritas. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. They just, you know, like, that's all that was open. So, like, we got tired of it really quick.
Yeah, I bet.
But it just, like, this time around I was super duper fortunate to be able to evacuate with my family, and I was with them, and then we went to family. So I got to, you know, spend a lot of time with cousins that I don't get to see a lot because they live in Florida. So it was awesome. I got to hang out with my aunt. She's awesome. Like, it was super fun. Like, and then I had, you know, that underlying survivor's guilt of like, oh man, I feel awful for the people that stayed or anyone that got hurt.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to work and go to the beach and hang out with my family. But I will say, I'm so glad I live alone because just 2 weeks with my parents, I was like, I love y'all so much. And I'm so happy that I have a great relationship with you. But oh my God, I can't handle this anymore. It's like, dude, y'all, I was ready. I couldn't handle it after a while. I was like, my stress level is already up here and y'all are just exacerbating it. Like, I can't do this right now. But yeah, that was my
Alice?
experience.
2 things in regards to previous hurricanes. The first time I ever evacuated was for Ivan. I don't know if you remember that. It was the year before Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
That one hit us really bad.
Really,
Yeah, but that hit your state. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, we evacuated to Shreveport, the Shreveport area, and stayed in my brother-in-law's hunting cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost wished I'd stayed home. Like, I was on a top bunk under a metal tin roof, and like I had to get up really early in the morning because it would roast me if I stayed there after the sun came up. And like we ended up staying, like we went to his parents' house, and they had like a really nice house and ACs in all the rooms, and it was nice there. And like I had that kind of survivor's guilt because like we went out to the shopping center there, and like everything was normal, like it was like obscenely normal. And we were watching like the Weather Channel and just like,
gosh,
is our house still there? Is our house still there? Please show my house.
Yeah.
That's how I felt too when we left. But it was like, but we stayed for the storm. But they said if you could leave.
Do it.
That's what they said. And here's, okay, I'm going to rant because this really annoyed me. So somebody, and I don't know who you are, and if you watch our page, I'm sorry I offended you. But there was this person on the DragonCon official page who whined about how the Marriott wouldn't refund her room. I think it was a she. And she's like, we're in New Orleans. And people are like, well, you could come and da-da-da. I'm like, okay, here's the thing. I plan to go to DragonCon in case of a hurricane. Mm-hmm. This is my backup plan. So I plan all year long to have extra money saved for DragonCon because I know there's a chance that a storm can happen. And I have a nice hotel and access to stores. And also I have a con where I can get lost and I don't have to worry about all the crap that's going on in Louisiana when a storm hits. So for you not to have thought that was a plan, I don't know if you're a transplant or you're not originally from here, but you made me so mad when you were saying how we're not supposed to leave in law. We left Tuesday. Like everything was fine to get out of the city. People were leaving the state to go get gas so they could stay in town.
Right.
The main roads were fine for you to leave. The governor, I don't know if it was the governor, but the mayor, and then the mayor of, and then what we have Jefferson, my parish, we have like a councilman or something. They told us
Parish president. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cynthia Lee Shang. Yeah.
Yeah. She said if you can leave, the roads are fine, leave. So did the mayor of New Orleans. If you can leave, leave, because people are coming in to fix all the problems. And and it'd be better if you have a place to go. But it was like, they were like, I can't believe that the Marriott won't refund me. Okay, you know this when you sign the contract and pay your money for Dragon Con things that you're gonna. I'm sorry, this is just my main rant because you know this. They're not gonna refund you the weekend of the con. And also, they're a southern state. They know how hurricanes work too.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, I have no sympathy for you because if you live in a state that has hurricanes, you're prepared for that. This was my backup plan. My fridge was already cleaned out.
Oh,
like, this was my plan.
I'm so envious because I did not have time to do mine, but thankfully it was fine when I got in. It didn't smell. So,
but it just made me so mad because we're all affected by this. And why wouldn't you, if you already paid the money, why wouldn't you make sure that your
like
place
you already have a hotel booked to evacuate? Most people that stayed in town that had to get a hotel didn't have that opportunity because they were all booked.
The problem with that is, like, I understand. I will say, I don't want to say in her defense, but like, if she was talking about needing a place to go before the con, because the hurricane hit on Sunday.
Yeah.
So if you got out of town when I did on Friday, where do you go? Like, Gesundheit. But one thing that she could have done is go, because like there's a million freaking Facebook pages for Dragon Con. There's one that's like, hey, rooms, where she could have sold her room to somebody if she wanted to.
That's what people were trying to tell her. They're like,
it's like, why don't you just sell your room? Like somebody else will take it.
Yeah, they're like, they're not going to give you. So go here, go to this page instead of complaining here. And so I don't think she's going to be back because she was just so like, she's like, but really she wanted a refund because she needed that money. Probably. I understand that. Pro
tip for hurricanes. This is something that I read and I was like, that's so dang smart. I should have been doing this. They say the internet says, eat out of your freezer during the summertime, and that way you're whittling down stuff and you'll have less stuff to throw out. So like, so in southern states, eat out of your freezer during the summertime, and that way you'll lose less stuff if a hurricane does hit. And I was like, that's freaking smart.
Yeah, I remember that. Or I don't put too much in there because like I said, I knew I would be leaving for a week. And in case a storm did hit while we were gone, because that has happened too, where we have minor stuff where we're leaving. I think Alice drove back one Dragon Con in a storm, in a hurricane one year. I ended up missing it because I flew in. So I missed it, but I think she was driving in it and giving us play-by-play because we were like, let us know when you get home.
Yeah. He was posted.
I think that was a tropical storm, right? Or was that a 1?
Yeah, I think it was a 1. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't ride home for anything lower than a 3, but like, I don't typically drive when there is a storm. Like, I mean, a regular afternoon thunderstorm, I don't care. Yeah. I can drive through the rain. I can't drive through the snow, but I can drive through the rain.
Yeah.
But driving through a hurricane is a little bit different. You have winds buffering your car, and everybody else is freaking out because they haven't done it before. So,
well, I think our collective trauma. I think we've talked about our collective trauma. Do we want to talk about Dragon Con?
Yes.
And because I haven't heard any cool stories from Alice or AC yet, so please tell us your stories.
Okay. So I'm going to show this picture, and then I'm going to explain what it is we're all looking at. So it's actually not my story to tell, but I love it, so I'm going to tell it anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Say hello to America's ass and Canada's ass. Basically, there is these two very delightful men. They stay, like, I think my sister and friends stayed out till like 1:32. So they were like, we're gonna go walk around the like after they left Yule, they're like, let's go walk around, and then they wandered. Usually, so for a Sunday night at con, this should be packed because this is the Marriott. Yeah, that's the Marriott because you can tell because of the carpet. So it would be packed with people. For it not to be packed shows you that we had less numbers this year. So they're just chilling, and so they were like, so one of them was like quickly snapped a picture, and the America's ass turned around, and he just kind of looked at him. They're like, we still have a picture, and he goes, wait, you need Canada's ass. So he grabbed Canada, but you can't tell in this photo that Canada's okay. So America's ass is like you can buy it, like it's bright, but Canada's ass is written in with Sharpie, which I think is
I love that. Like, hang on, wait, let's write it. Canada.
And
okay,
supposedly we're under the impression they're a couple, so that's which is totally awesome.
Oh, cool.
But yeah,
Cute.
but you should always just because they did it, you should never do that. You should always ask to take.
Always ask, yes.
Always ask. They were cool with it, but you never know who's cool with it, so always ask.
And don't ask while someone's eating.
Yeah, just
don't
be
do that
respectful
either.
of people's time. Yeah, their personal time.
Totally, they were like most people who are hanging out at the Marriott are dressed in costume are expecting people to take their photo.
Right.
But it is still better to ask. Flannel. The amazing thing is, this was the first year, probably because of Ida. This was the first year that Dragon Con wasn't freaking hot. It was pretty.
Yeah, it was
day.
actually like chill.
That's so annoying.
It was the best weather ever. So it was like,
Yeah, because I mean,
so there's people posting on Dragon Con official, and they're like, "This is not usual. You newbies who came don't expect
you
this.
first timers don't expect this again."
Although
Yeah,
climate
don't
change
expect
may
it.
actually have
But,
changed going forward.
So I'm gonna. I know I kind of jumped, and I know Alice, stop me whenever you want to jump in with a story. So Thursday night I had my swag and seek panel, which Alice showed up for it. So we had some minor hiccups with it. A lot of all the hotels, a lot of the staff were all new to Dragon Con. And they were not used to it, because of COVID and stuff. So it makes a lot more sense now. I'm not saying they didn't do a beautiful job. There was just a lot of communication issue, and if they're not used to 42,000 nerds invading their city, it's going to be. So basically, there was misunderstanding with how our room got set up, and we were told it was code, and then it wasn't code, and then there was running around trying to figure out who we needed to talk to fix it because we were trying to do our meetup. And then they didn't really space chairs. Like all the chairs were together. There was just a lot when you only have a half an hour and you're told that stuff, that everything's wrong. You kind of freak out a little bit. So, but everything was great. It worked out. And we had a lot of people show up for it, but we had to shut the door. So you could only have 2/3. It was a bigger room, but you could only have 2/3 in there because of COVID rules. But also, I don't think. Also, Dragon Con did not have the volunteers it normally has. No offense to Dragon Con, nothing they did wrong. They normally have over 2,500 people, and I think they only had 1,000 volunteers this year. Don't quote me; I don't know numbers exactly. So just going by what I normally know, I think that makes sense in my head. But don't quote me; I'm not a Dragon Con official person. I'm just me who has a fan group. So we had to shut the door, but then my sister, who was awesome and who was manning the door, told all of them to trade and then ran through the line and gave everybody bags. So people still got, so they not trade. Sorry, that's the wrong word. Gifts. I did it to myself. We don't trade.
Yeah.
We give each other gifts. Trade is not a thing we do. But one of the official people with Dragon Con kept saying that throughout the panel, and I kept having to go on the mic. We do gifts. He doesn't mean trading. He means gifts. So that was a lot of fun. Alice made these really cool magnet dice that people love that she gave out.
Yeah,
right?
I 3D printed.
Yeah, they were really cute.
Cute.
And this is one I didn't finish because it
that's a
didn't
beautiful
fit right,
size
but,
too.
I had a magnet here so you could just stick it somewhere. My idea was you could stick it on your fridge, and if you're having difficulty deciding what to have for dinner, you could roll for initiative.
I love it. That's a great idea. How many did you make?
I made about 50.
That's a lot, dude. That's awesome.
Well, I
Man,
didn't
I
just
love
make
that.
the size. Like I have two 3D printers now because I acquired the resin printer here. So
Yeah.
I made some smaller ones. Which, one second, I ended up not making all of them into necklaces like I planned, but like I made D20 necklaces, and you
Oh,
can pop it off because it's magnetic, and roll it, and then reconnect it when you're done.
dude. That's so
So like,
cool.
you can wear it as a pretty necklace, and then if you need to make a decision, roll for initiative.
You need an Etsy shop. That is freaking awesome. I really,
Okay.
really like that. Sorry, just throwing that out there.
No,
That's
no.
adorable.
Okay.
Oh, wand.
So this is from one of the guys in the group, and he is phenomenal. I don't have permission to say his name, so but because I didn't ask him that I was going to show up with stuff. But anyway, he sent me a picture of this a while back, and he was like, "This is my fleur de lis." Like he made a couple of fleur de lis wands, and so he grabbed me at the. He was also one of our volunteers. He grabbed me at the panel, and he was like, where's your guy? And so I got, and he goes, so he handed this one to my boyfriend first, and then handed this very pretty brown one to me that had like the handle was like fleur de lis, and I immediately took this one out of boyfriend's hand and handed him the other wand, and I was like, "Is that?" He's like, "Yes."
I love it. Like, no, that's fine.
Like, because this was the one that that the guy that made him originally showed me, and I was totally in love with it, and it looks a lot like my first wand that actually Alice made for me that I don't know. I packed it up so because my wallet stuff is not Harry Potter anymore. It is Halloween. There is a difference.
Yeah.
So anyway, but this one will go up because it's a New Orleans one, so it will go on the shelf right now.
Yeah,
But,
one I made use off a birch tree in my mom's backyard.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's more white, but they're very similar. So I like the lighter wand, and I knew that boyfriend liked the darker wand. So, but yeah, and then another person in the group makes these awesome little gnome people.
that's cute.
But a lot of this stuff was the reason I have so much is because we had various meetups throughout the con, and people came up and gifted, and then like you could give, they could give. So I didn't find this stuff hidden. So that's why I have, and I missed one of the meetups. And you can ask Iris, who saw all my swag. Like I even gave her a bag of swag because we met up when I would because we couldn't come home after Dragon Con. We had to go to Virginia to get dog, but also we needed to be there another week because there was still problems with the storm. Oh, after this.
Yep.
So so that was Thursday. Then Friday, the PBS meetup that I always do Miss Frizzle was canceled, but I dressed up as Miss Frizzle, and my mom made buses for me to give to people.
Oh.
And there was another Miss Frizzle in the group who made PBS ribbons, and so she saw me in the food court, and she's like, "I'm sorry to bother you while you're eating, but here." You're another Miss Frizzle. You get a ribbon. I'm like, wait, you get a bus.
Dude, I got so many Loki ribbons when I was running around in my Loki cosplay.
Oh, I missed that. I wanted more Loki stuff.
A Loki meetup on Friday. And so, like, it was
Missed that.
It was supposed to be, like, because, you know, they filmed Loki at the Marriott. So it was Loki storms the TVA. And so all the Lokis showed up at the Marriott.
Was there a lot of them? I meant to go to that.
There was like at least 100 or so that showed up to the meetup.
That's awesome.
I got a picture with a girl that was dressed as Gator Loki.
Aww.
Oh,
Did
and
you
they
wear
had a
Loki?
massive. Somebody made like a huge Miss Minutes, like taller than me, and like,
I saw that.
wide.
It looked really great.
Yeah.
I saw her work, or whoever was it. I saw them working on it through before the con. I never actually got to see it in person. But did you get to wear your Loki?
Yeah. And
Okay.
because it was so much colder, I wore it with the fur cloak.
I was Miss Frizzle, and we were walking from the Hyatt, and they grabbed me. This would have been Friday. So they grabbed me, and do y'all remember Mash, the guy that always wore the woman
Klinger. Yeah.
I turned to my sister because after we were done, he's like, "We're going look for hot men," and they turned around, and it was like him, and it was like other people who were like I would call muggles because they were in regular clothing, but they were following him around, and he had the sign and everything, like like the different like where to go, like which way, and but apparently that person cosplayed every day in a different outfit of his stuff. And it was funny because I was like, I turned to my sister and I was like, who the hell is that? I know it. And she goes, oh, it's, but we didn't get a photo, and I was so mad. So there's a photo of me as Miss Frizzle with him. I think I'm wearing my mask because I try to keep my mask on majority unless I was drinking something.
Everybody was very good about wearing masks during the con. Like, there's only people who are eating, and like sometimes people take them off for photos.
The MASH guy, what was it? What was his name?
Singer.
Yeah, he wasn't, but he was doing photos.
Yeah.
So, and the people in his party had their mask on. I mean, and we were all kind of another one of the best. So what was the boat that got stuck in the thing?
Oh my gosh, the Evergreen.
Okay, the barge. So in the Hyatt, there was these people that were kind of in the way, but not in the way. And then they had Hear the Navy blaring, and they were like, and they were all wearing Navy hats and carrying the boat, and they'd be like, "Turn, okay, go left, no, go right, go left."
I saw that cosplay. They blocked a door. Like, there was a sliding door. They like went and stood in the door so that they were, sideways and blocking the entire door. It's like, oh, sorry, oh god, and they like went back, reverse, forward, reverse. One of the big cosplays that everybody was like going gaga over, I think you saw him, was the Stripper Witcher. Yeah, so he was running around the con with a stripper pole, and
toss a coin
he had like a treasure chest at the bottom where you could put coins, and he had a guy with him with a 3D printed lute that it didn't actually play, but like he would, just like he would hype him up, and so everybody would come over and like that guy made money off that costume because people were giving him real money.
I bet he did. I know some people had made coins to give to it. There was a picture of him at the Bunny Hutch, so that's what he had. But when I saw him, it was like on Saturday, and he had clothing on, which was fine.
What were your favorite?
Shop with the bard because he had that really cool 3D printed loot, and like, so what'd you print that on? Where'd you get the files?
I love it. Talking shop.
So what were you asking?
What were your favorite events or panels? And did you get to meet or like see anybody famous? Those are my questions.
I went and saw the guy from Guillermo. I said it right, Guillermo.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, was he great?
So, yeah, he was awesome. So my sister has this thing about that we have to do. We have to do at least one panel a day. So if I hang with her, I go to at least one panel a day. And apparently my panels don't count, but I count them. So we went in and he was hilarious with stories. So apparently the whole, like his role, it was actually written for somebody who was supposed to be 20 years older. And because of somebody's girlfriend who was the producer, met him at a party and thought he was hilarious. And so she was like hyping it up and he's like, I don't do that anymore, but where are we meeting in a dark alley? So he was just really funny. And his sister came with him to con too. Cause he's like, I'm pointing over there, but my sister's over there somewhere. So that's who I'm talking to. So
that's cute. And
he had, I forget who his, who the MC was. I think it was Sherry or Cherry, for Dragon Con. It was a redhead. One of the main, Dragon Con MCs, and I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, so I do not remember your name. Like they're gonna watch this. But anyway, but he was just so awesome with the stories he had, and if you didn't know it, but what we do in the shadows is totally improv, so it's them playing. So he's like we have scenes that go on for 20 minutes, and he's like one that didn't get in there, but he's like there's one episode where it's just like I go this way, and they're like, where is he? He went over there, right? Like, and he goes, we did that for like 30 minutes, and and he goes, that didn't get here, but he's like, we had fun doing it. And
that makes a lot of sense of the way they deliver their lines. Then I didn't know that feels more.
Apparently, have y'all seen the latest season? Have y'all seen the latest episode?
I've only seen a couple episodes. I haven't seen. I'm not caught up yet. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say.
One.
A fan.
Okay, so there's a scene from the first episode where, if you watch it, can I give you a little spoiler? Just a little.
Okay,
it's an improv scene. So basically, y'all remember how season 2 ended, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Guillermo's in jail. Like, so, and there's a scene with Chicken. So that whole scene with Chicken is completely improv between Guillermo and his master.
Nandor.
So just know, yeah. So in him, and so he's like later for the like when they were when he was talking about, he's like the other actor who I don't know that actor's name, but he's like. I was telling him, he's like, dude, they kept the scene in there. And he goes, they did? And that was total, like, made up. And, like, and so it's hilarious. hilarious, and I'm not going to give anything away. It's just there's
that's
there's
so
a couple
good.
of different jail scenes, but there's the one between them two. When y'all watch it, you're gonna laugh. And so it was awesome to get his and he was like, okay, not to give any spoilers, but he's like, when you watch this scene, this is the scene, you know. And
I love it.
And so and
funny.
I watched it like a week later, and not to and we're losing Iris, guys, but I'll try to wrap up. But that was my favorite. That was the only like famous no, I went and saw an author, and then
cool.
And I didn't do anything Monday because there wasn't tons of panels. I don't know if Alice will agree.
I didn't actually go to panels because I mean I typically don't. The only thing I went to was gosh, what is that musician's name?
Voltaire.
Voltaire.
Yeah, I went to Voltaire's concert, and that's about it.
Yeah, we talked about it. I don't know why we ended up not there. I don't remember what we did.
Can I tell you?
Oh, we went to the drum circle. We went to the drum circle.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that, but
it was fun.
Can I tell y'all a quick story about Voltaire? This is the only thing it has to do with this topic is that y'all mentioned Voltaire. He apparently because he comes through New Orleans a lot, and several years ago, this is years ago.
This is why I don't think we were that sad to miss him because he comes.
Yeah, he comes around. Yeah. He it's probably over a decade now, but he was at I want to say Hi-Ho Lounge, and my friend at the time, he had long hair and he would wear it in a ponytail. He has very thick, beautiful black hair that he would keep in a ponytail. And they were at the bar, him and his brother, and I think maybe his girlfriend, now wife, who's one of my oldest and best friends. They were all at the bar, and Voltaire apparently sat down at the bar next to my friend and put his hand around his shoulder thinking he was a woman. And then my friend turned around and he goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And he's like, it's cool. What's up, Voltaire? But he was trying to put the moves on him a little bit. And I was just like, "Oh my God, Voltaire, you dog." This is ages. And then they started talking and it was just he's a cool guy. He probably should keep his hands to himself, but he was so surprised. He was like, I'm so sorry. I did not know you were a man. I'm so sorry. And my friend was just like, "It's cool, whatever." I just got kind of, not felt up, but kind of felt up by Voltaire.
I mean, me at a con, I generally don't go to the panels, but I do like to try and get to the the musical acts. If I could get any con, if I could just get a con to get the guy who wrote the theme song for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I would talk to him. But I didn't see any of the celebrities. I had planned to go see Eddie McClintock because I see him at a lot of different conventions, and he's a sweetheart. He's a hugger. He will hug you. He doesn't care.
When we walked the celebrity thing, he was one of the only celebrities who wasn't behind his plexiglass because he was hugging everybody.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Actually, I met him at PencilCon when I worked at that convention.
Put on your mask, Eddie. Yeah, sorry.
And so I was actually going around, and he stayed. Every other celebrity had left the floor. He was the only one left. And so I was collecting trash. And so I walked up to him and was like, "Hey, do you have any trash you need to get rid of?" He's like, "Well, yeah, wait, no, hi, I'm Eddie." I'm like, "I know who you are." And he's like,
"That's really cute.
What's your name?" I'm like, I gave him my name. He's like, oh, that name. I have so many of that name in my family. And he just went off on this. I'm like, "You're so fun." And so every time I go to see him, he recognizes me, which is great. And so I just chat him up. I specifically go because I love Warehouse 13. I do.
Yeah.
But he's so fun to interact with that
he's great
with him.
I did find the Monday night party where you leave your alcohol. For some reason, okay, so the Hilton had problem with people drinking alcohol and giving it to people in their lobby part. But they had no problem with us going down in the basement at the Hilton and having the leave your alcohol, because people on Monday leave their alcohol behind. So there was another group of people who were running it till midnight. So basically you could go in there and it was cool. But when I walked in that room, they had food out, they had alcohol out, but most of the people in that room were not wearing a mask. And I promptly went in and walked back out. And then went to the little area over here
this year because that.
Yeah, well,
plus we didn't make as much because.
Well, I went back in because our friends did, so I kind of stayed away from people and just kind of sat in a circle. And then all of them, they were kind of trying to clear people out because they were like, "Okay, we're done at midnight." And then a bunch of people were like, "Let's go to this karaoke place where there's food." And I'm like, "You got to pay for that." So so like 10 minutes before midnight, we hear, okay, guys, if you want anybody alcohol, come get it, head out. And so we were like, okay. So we were hanging out with these two friends and this other friend who's like in her 20s, like, no, so cute, but very petite, very tiny little girl. I mean, I'm calling her that because she's just tiny. Like, she's shorter than me. And she comes back with like 10 bottles. And I'm like, honey, how are you going to carry that? So, of course, me, who didn't really, boyfriend had a bag and I had a bag. So I took everything out and throw it. And it was like, now you have a bag for free. Like, it was one of those crappy little disposable book sacks.
Yeah.
That had American Express on it. So I was like, here, for your bag. But it was funny because her person was like, what are we going to do with that?
Gifted away.
they weren't flying, but it was just hilarious. Just like, did you think this through?
Did you see Not Will Wheaton?
Yeah.
No, I saw photos. Of that.
Yeah, he was really cool. Yeah, he gets mistaken for Will Wheaton at so many conventions that he just decided to lean into it.
That was great. Trying to think, there were some people I saw that I thought were really cool, and I think I took pictures, but I can't. Everything blurs because I'm dealing with trauma from the hurricane. So it's like I'm trying to remember what I saw or did. So, guys, did we do the thing?
I think
sorry, not trying to cut off. I think we're okay. So I think we made this world, this uncomfortable world, a little bit more comfortable.
Like if you did, share if you think you should, and subscribe if you want to live. Just kidding. All right. Thank you. See you later.
Bye. Okay, bye.